100% renewable NYC. Sound like an interesting thing? That's what I thought I would get into and think about and give you some examples of how we use permaculture design in an urban landscape to start to retool and retrofit it. The U.S. Energy Information Administration has estimated that by 2030, global demand for energy will be 16.9 terawatts. So if we wanted to achieve 16.9 trillion watts of demand with coal, it would take 13,000 new coal plants to do that. If we were to do it with wind, it would take 3.8 million turbines to do it. Not bad, because check out how many cars we make annually. 73 million. Great. Let's retool the auto industry, 3.8 million turbines. We're energy self-sufficient. What are we talking about? Why are people so in this notion that it's difficult to achieve being 100% renewable? It's not. All of the data shows this. How much would it take to do it with photovoltaic and solar panels? It would take about 89,000 of them, according to Jacobson, an MIT engineer. It would take about 89,000 photovoltaic solar panels, which would take up 0.33% of the Earth's surface. 13,000 coal plants is going to take up a whole lot more of the Earth's surface than 0.3%. And that's not even looking at all the mining extraction that's going to go into those coal burning power plants, which is not going to go into 89,000 photovoltaic arrays. Once those are built, that's it. That's it. The extraction and refining that went into making the PV panel, you don't keep mining coal to power a PV array. Guess what's powering it? The biggest thing going on in our planetary system, which remember is called solar system. So risk versus benefits, a common criteria. Yet somehow, in terms of the common sense of the United States population, it's been completely lost when we think about things like, should we take mountaintops and flip them over into valleys in order so that we can have hot water and lights and be able to cook food? Here's what David Orr says about ecological literacy in our culture. He says, you know what, just because people grow up in damaged, fragmented landscapes, they really actually grow up having no idea what a healthy landscape would look like. And that's important to understand, because that starts to set the tone for why people actually don't have better examples or a better idea of what to do than to continue with business as usual, which is petroleum-powered, coal-powered, nuclear-powered electricity. Solar thermal are evacuated tubes that are highly engineered, very well dialed in, and go directly into the building infrastructure that they're mounted on. So it benefits the building. And if you do like PEX tubing, radiant slab heating, you can have a thermostat intertied, tankless, biogas-powered hot water heater that's taking all of the food scraps and black water from the site. In fact, there's a building in Chelsea called Tribeca Green. LEED Platinum building has been approved in New York City, high-rise building. They process all their sewage on site in an anaerobic digester in the basement. They release the black water, not into the city sewer system, but into subsurface irrigation around street trees that they planted around the building. Totally approved, right in the middle of the city. And ultimately, we want to start to get an infrastructure that uses more trains and uses less automobile dependency, and that those trains are powered by photovoltaics, by renewables. In China, there are 30,000 biogas units powering 40 million homes. I use China as an example because we can start to get a sense of the scalability of these technologies, right? These technologies are not just idiosyncratic backwoods hippie homestead scale technologies. These actually scale up at the dimension that we need them when we're talking about cities of 20 million people. Right? When we're talking about a northeastern corridor with 120 million people. It's over a third of the US population. That's why I'm doing research on it. It counts what we do here. Retrofitting this landscape will be a huge game changer globally. And it's worth continuing to brainstorm about a better scenario than what we've been handed. And I'm saying that in order for us to actually claim our autonomy, claim our integrity, claim our independence, claim our quality of life, leave a better planet to future generations, the most important thing we need to do is retrofit the infrastructure to be done in a way that taps into biology way more than technology. The Earth is actually the primary teacher that we need to be students of in order to create a world that is going to give a better inheritance to future generations. We need to transition from a philosophy and a belief system that is invested in the notion that there is not enough for everyone and that there is not enough on this planet to create what we all need in order to have a good life. And that myth needs to be dispelled by creating the better alternative in the midst of the system that has propped up this mythology that we need to actually exploit one another in order to have a good life. And what I'm getting at is that a non-renewable grid is grounded in exploitation. It's grounded in contamination. And if you actually want to get out of a less bad Band-Aid scenario, we ultimately need to create a grid that isn't founded in mining, extraction, refining, and exploitation and contamination. And that the best way to do that is to eliminate nukes, eliminate oil, eliminate gas, and begin to tap into the massive power that just exists by virtue of the fact that we're on a planet in outer space.